Okay, in this short video, I'm going to show you how to set up a web page in Photoshop, and then the follow-up video to this will be then how to take all of that info and bring it into Dreamweaver and build it with HTML and CSS. First thing, I'm going to set up my workspace. So I'm going to come to File, New, and I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to set it up this time for 1920 by 2160 pixels. So let's see here. And that is not here right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come on up and I'm just going to come to this, and then I can come on in and change it. So I'm going to put in the pixels, and again, so I want my width to be 1920. I'm going to put my height in at 2160, or either way. So I'm going to lay it out like this. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to begin and I'm going to put a color in for my background. For this project, I'm going to build a header, a navbar, a background color, a body where I'm going to place images, and a footer. So I begin. I come to get my color, I come to Edit, Fill. And I'm just going to come on in here and come to Color. And I am going to choose a color. I'm going to hit OK. OK, and my color is now in. Now, really important, I should, write down the number of that color. Again, in order to access the number of that color, if that color is not appearing inside of here, I can grab my eyedropper, I can click, I can double click, and I can see that the number for my color is 99 and 4 C's. Okay. Okay, all right, so the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to create my header. And I want to just create a space for my header right now. So I'm going to come on in and I'm going to work with my shape tools. You'll find a lot of times when we're working on the web that our shape tools are really fabulous tools to work with. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and I'm going to draw a shape. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to choose the color that I want, and I'm going to choose this color right here. I want to go into more of a brown, maybe even that one. Okay, so here we go. And I could come on down and choose even more if I'd like to. And it's always, we can click onto this image up in here and we can get the color picker as well. So I could come on in and, change things up. And again, this is super easy to change as well. So coming in, I have my shape tool. Now this is important, I have it set at shape. And I can come on in here and I can draw the shape of my header. Voila. I can grab my move tool up here. I can move this over wherever I would like it to be. Now again, if I wanted to add a stroke, I would hit this shape again and I would come and work with my shape, my stroke. Now, this is great too. I'm going to keep even numbers because I know when I'm building my website that it's much easier when I have these even numbers. So I'm going to come on in here, I'm going to make this 1800 pixels, and I'm going to make it by 250. So here goes, 1800 by 250. All right, so there I have my header. Okay, now what I want to do with my header too is I want to give it a little drop shadow. So I'm going to come on in to my layer effects, and I am going to choose a drop shadow. And I'm going to just come and click wherever it may be. Drop shadow, oh, there it is. Preview, oh, excellent, it's on. There we go. So I can click on and off. And that's just a very subtle, really nice way to add some depth to our site. Now, I could double click, I could change the color of my drop shadow if I'd like to. I could go and make it a warmer drop shadow. So there's a lot of different options that you can work with. And again, you can work with the size of it. Okay, I need to hit OK. You can work with the size of the drop shadow, make it a little bit bigger if you'd like to work with the spread. And I like that. I'm going to leave it just like that. And the distance, so, okay, there we go. We have that one built. All right, Now I can see too, it's really important that I have everything moving around and that everything is in different layers. Now, when we work with the shape tools, it's very easy because they put it in different layers. We want everything that we do to be in its own layer, just because when we go to take it apart, it makes it easy to take apart. It's super easy to do that. Okay, next I'm going to do is I'm going to do my nav bar. All right, beautiful. So for my nav bar, I'm going to do something a little bit different for my nav bar. I'm going to create a new layer. Okay, I'm gonna actually name name it Navbar. Now I could have just done a shape, right? But I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna grab my brushes. I'm gonna grab my brush tool, okay? And I'm gonna come on in and I'm gonna take this brush right here. And I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Perfect. Actually, I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Now, I know that 72 pixels is an inch. I'm gonna go right up to 80. Perfect. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to choose this color. Oopsie, sorry. All right, so I'm going to choose this color up in here. And I wish I would have written down the number. I didn't, so I need to go get the eyedropper. I grab my eyedropper. I get this color. That color is now loaded. Again, I'm going to go back, I'm going to grab my brush one more time. What I had in the brush is there. And for my nav bar, I am going to just do a brush of color. There we have it. Excellent. All right, so now I can take this and I can move it down a little bit. A lot of times I like to work with my up and down arrow. And there we have it. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to put the words in on my nav bar there. Now, I want to have like a body for this. And I have a piece of paper. Well, I can actually go and get a piece of paper too. So we can go into stock imagery and, you know, there's a lot of high resolution free images that we can work with. So I could put a piece of watercolor paper in. I can even just put, you know, a color in and lower the opacity. So there's a lot of different options. Again, you can work with the shape tool. But I'm going to actually place an image in. So I have the image placed on my desktop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to File, and I am going to come to Place Embedded. Now, I want to place it embedded. I want it to be connected. And this is my image. It's paper. And I can see that it's 960 by 678. Probably maybe want it to be a little bit bigger, but let's just see how it works. All right, so now I definitely want to flip it too. So I could come on in and I could go like so. I'm going to undo that because I want to show you what else you could do. You could come to Edit and you could go to Transform and you could say rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and there we have it. All right, now I want to resize this too. And let's say that I'm clicked off of here and I don't have it selected. I need to place it. I would just come to Edit and I would come to Transform, and I'm going to go to Free Transform. And I'm not worrying. If I wanted to keep the relationship between the width and the height, I'd hold down Shift. But because this is a crumpled piece of paper, it doesn't really matter if it's distorted. So I'm going to come out here, have this fill up the space. And there we have it. I'm going to place this image. Now, I might want to work with the color too. I almost feel like this is almost a little bit too bright, and I don't want it to be so bright. Another good thing I could do would be a blending mode. So I could come on up, let's do a blending mode, or I could lower the opacity a little bit too. So I could bring it on down, and then some of the blue comes through, so that's an idea. Or I could come on in and do a blending mode, and I could make it more like an overlay. All right, and I like that better. So now it's not so much this separate bright color. Now, I'm going to add a drop shadow, and I want the same drop shadow that I have on this one. So I want to copy my layer style. So I'm going to click here, I'm going to control click, I am going to copy my layer style, I'm going to come to this image, I'm going to control click, I am going to paste my layer style, paste layer style, and there we have it. All right, now one more time, the blending mode kind of disappeared here, so let me try this one more time and come on in, and I'm going to do an overlay. All right, and my drop shadow is still there. So if that happens, you might just need to repeat that step. Now I'm going to come in, I'm going to bring my footer down. So I'm going to edit. I can just copy and paste this, but I'm going to actually have my footer run the whole full length. So maybe I'll draw a new shape, and I'm not going to do a drop shadow on the footer. All right, so I'm going to click onto this, and I can see it's all there. And my drop shadow, my footer is going to run across the bottom, just like so. All right, excellent. So there we have it. We have the beginning of our layout. Now, I'm going to come on in. I'm going to do a typographic logo. So I am going to put the type on in, and I am going to click onto this guy. I'm going to work with the type that I have loaded, Verdana. So I'm going to come on in. Now, what I want to be careful of, because see, I'm coming on in and it's clicking and it's looking to put it in a shape, which is cool and everything, but I want to be able to move it. So I'm just going to click it and put it right here. And let's say this was for the coffee corner. I'm doing a project for the coffee corner. All right, so there we have it. Now, this is the problem. And I pulled the wrong thing. So sometimes it's tricky. You want to make sure that we're getting the right thing. So I need to click onto this guy, move down. I want to change the color. It's a little hard to see it. So I'm going to grab my T for type. I'm going to triple click to get the whole thing. And I'm going to make the color much more like the color of coffee. So I'm going to click, click. Perfect. Okay, there we have it. Okay, now I'm going to grab this. I'm going to, again, hard to make sure that we get the right one. I'm going to move this right in right here. Okay, now I'm going to come on in and I'm going to start adding the type for my menu bar. Now, I'm going to use a type that is much more, I'm going to use Arial for this. And I'm just going to click and I can start. I'm going to change the size for sure. I'm going to go down maybe to like 22 to start. And again, I want to keep that same, I want to keep that same color. I'm sorry, yeah, that same color. Okay, so I'm going to come in home. Whoops, if I can spell things correctly. Home. Maybe I'll put in a pike. Menu. Oh my goodness, put your hands. Locations. Contact. Okay, beautiful. All right, so now I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this over top of here. Now when I'm looking at this, so I can tell that it's just way too big. So I'm going to grab my T for type. I'm going to double click and I'm going to make this smaller. I think I could go down to about 18. All right, good. I think I can go down even a little bit lower. I'm going to go to 16. All right, now maybe I want to spread this out a little bit more though. So I could totally come in and put spaces in, but I could also come in, grab my T for type, triple click it, come on up, go to my window, come to my paragraph window. And actually I want my character window. My character, here we go. Let's come on into here. And I can put space in between things. So I can hover, come right over to here. I can set the tracking. Now, this has a scrubby, so I can, oops, and that's too big. 280 is too big. I'm going to come, there we go. 160 worked perfectly. Excellent. All right, so now in my footer, you know, a lot of times what's in the footer is also what's in the header. So I could, you know, whatever it is that I want to put in the footer, I can add that with type as well in a similar kind of way. Now, when I come on over into my Navbar, I can see that I have these different layers. If you'd like to, just to really making sure that everyone is in its own layer, I could also organize things then into groups. So let's do that. Let's do a group. I'm going to add a folder and I'm going to have a Navbar folder. So I'm going to click onto this guy and I'm going to take them, drag them, drop them in. I'm going to name this one Navbar. Just makes it easier. My next one, I'm going to grab onto this guy. I'm going to take him. I'm going to drag him. I'm going to drop him in. Navbar. Okay. Now, I need to come in here too into my Navbar because I can see what happened is this one needs to be on top of that one. There we have it. So it's all about the order. Now I could also do my header. So I'm going to do another group. Oops. And I put this group inside my other group. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to click off and not have anything selected. So I'm going to click in here and I'm going to name this one my header. Great. Now I'm going to drag and drop the two images from my header in here. So the first one is going to be the coffee corner. Drop it on in. And then my other one is going to just be the rectangle. And I'm going to drop it in. Okay. Same thing. I need to fix my layer order. So I'm going to push this down, drag this, drop this on top. And there we have it. All right, so very quickly, very easily, we just went through how we can do a quick layout in Photoshop, getting our color ideas. My next video will go over how to take this right here and now bring it and lay it out in Dreamweaver, how to build this with HTML and CSS. Thanks so much. Oh, also, saving this, I almost forgot. I want to make sure that I save this as a PSD file because what I'll do is I'll cut this all up before I bring it into Dreamweaver. So I'll come and I'll say File, Save As, and I will make sure that I save it as a PSD. And I have Coffee Corner PSD. I hit Save. Okay, and I'm set. Thanks for listening.